Hello everyone, how are you? So, Resident Evil 4 is often considered one of the best survival horror games ever made. It was a turning point for the acclaimed franchise from Capcom by providing an over-the-shoulder perspective, brand new enemies, and a new threat to engage with. In this video, I'll be talking about the various Easter eggs and interesting details along with some secrets within this acclaimed title. But before we continue, remember to leave a like and consider subscribing. Also hit that notification bell if you want to keep up to date with all my content. When playing Resident Evil 4 for the first time, many players noticed that there were no children within the game. Children in video games, especially in violent titles like survival horror where you have to kill, is a massive controversy. Games like Dead Space and Days Gone have evaded this by mutating the children into monstrous beings, with Dead Space being the necromorphs and Days Gone being the Freaker virus. But in Resident Evil 4, the infected maintained their human appearance for the most part. While Capcom has provided context to this, that the children infected with the parasite died due to their undeveloped bodies, in a later interview, you can actually see the events transpire within the credits. During the credits, you see the villagers being infected with the lost plagas, but there's an image after the infection takes hold, clearly showing a deceased child sitting on a chair. And since the images shown are in chronological order from the villagers living a normal, happy life to Salazar and the Los Elementos coming and introducing them to this new line of work where they harvest the Plagas parasite, infect them with it, and then we see this image of the deceased child, we can assume that this is what was happening before Capcom confirmed it in an interview. And I assume they confirmed this because back when Resident Evil 4 first came out, there was a lot of discussion that the villagers actually killed the children, which I can understand why people thought that when you look at the image, but when playing through the game, it's shown that the parasited infected people do not attack other infected people because of the transmission that's being pushed onto the people. They just attack anyone who's not infected. There are a lot of graphic death animations in Resident Evil 4, but there are a couple that are secret. For example, if you shoot the lake before you fill Del Lago, you can trigger the creature to launch from the murky water and eat Leon. Another secret death is during the battle with the infected with Lewis. If you shoot Lewis too many times, he'll decide enough is enough and will kill Leon on the spot. There's also a death animation that was censored in the Japan release. During the fights with the chainsaw infected characters, you can get decapitated if you stand too close to them, and the entire process is shown in graphic detail to the player. However, in Japan, including the HD re-releases of Resident Evil 4, this death animation was censored because of cultural reasons. After completing the Separate Ways campaign featuring Ada Wong, you'll unlock Special Costume 2 for Leon and Ashley. Leon will don his gangster look, and if you equip the Chicago typewriter, he'll adjust his hat when you attempt to reload. If you do this 4 times, 3 times he'll adjust his hat. On the 4th time, he will toss his hat in the air and catch it. The two most powerful handguns in the game are the Broken Butterfly and Killer 7. The description for the Broken Butterfly is a very powerful .45 Magnum revolver. This will make anyone's day. This is a reference to Dirty Harry. The Killer 7 Magnum is a reference to the Killer 7 video game, also published by Capcom. While Leon is a super badass, he does have his aloof moments, such as when Leon is in the throne room of Saddler. When you're inside his throne room, you can actually take a seat in his chair. It's a small detail that shows Leon's more comical side, and we see this throughout Resident Evil 4, but I like that they introduced this special animation just to show Leon isn't all business even when he's on a serious mission. At the end of the credits, Hunnigan will contact Leon and tell him to return to base for another mission, but at the end there is a special message that plays. It says, "The characters and events depicted in this game are fictitious. Any similarity to actual persons living or dead is purely coincidental. This game is protected under the laws of the Raccoon Police Department. Unauthorized duplication, distribution, or exhibition may result in civil liability and the criminal prosecution by appropriate STARS members, and then some. This is a callback to the original Resident Evil trilogy with the Special Tactics and Rescue Squad, which was STARS and was a huge deal within the Resident Evil universe before they were all killed by Nemesis. Well, not all of them were killed. We all know that Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield survived, but STARS has been disbanded. But it's nice that Capcom makes reference to the original games time and time again. While Resident Evil 4 has professional and normal listed as the difficulty options when you start a new game, Capcom has another difficulty option that plays throughout the game regardless of which difficulty you choose. Depending on the player's performance, the game will increase or decrease the health of the infected, enemy counts, or make it easier or harder to explode heads or knock enemies down. This is to keep the experience dynamic and ever-changing and gauge the player's performance. If you're having a difficult time, the game will ease up and reduce the enemy count and make it easier to pull off headshots and knock enemies down, and vice versa if you're performing very well, making enemies much harder to knock down, much quicker, they're more inclined to sprint towards Leon, attack more frequently, and so forth. So Capcom never advertised this option, and it's just within the game, and it's up to you to notice the differences. Those who played Haunting Ground 3 will recognize the dog Leon could save at the beginning of the game. If you save this dog from the trap, he'll aid you in the first battle against El Gigante. However, this dog was also going to be part of the original builds of Resident Evil 4. In one of these concepts, Leon was aided by a girl who befriended an infected dog who would aid Leon in his mission. However, this idea was scrapped and repurposed for Haunting Ground 3, but the dog remains within the game, with Capcom using the same design for both Resident Evil 4 and Haunting Ground 3. So that does it for this video. If I missed anything, leave them in the comments below. I like to leave things open so people can have a discussion in the comments below. Also check out my other Resident Evil videos. I have a bunch of walkthroughs available, and I'll be putting out more Resident Evil content since it's October and, you know, the best time to put out survival horror content. I'll also be putting up walkthroughs for Resident Evil games that I somehow did not upload. Either way, I'll be putting those up as soon as I can, along with more Easter egg videos for Resident Evil 5, Revelations, and so on. So check back with the channel and you can watch that content. Remember to like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Stay awesome, everyone.